What is up, sports heads? Steady hand here. And let me catch you up to speed. First off, before we do anything to start, I just want to say, as much as I try to do as much research as I can, every other person has been covering this story. Every other person has been already on each topic, on each point to point out. So trust me, this has already been covered. This has already been said. So big one I want to point out is at Urinating Tree on Twitter. He has been the person who has provided most of the information and has been staying up on this story. So just want to get that out there right now. Time to put you all into the time machine for a bit. Going back just only 1 year, not too far, but to a story that encapsulated the sports world and made everybody enthralled and enthused by this amazing development that came up to them. It was a game played on ESPN by 2 high schools, one of them being one of the top schools in the program and being this powerhouse that everybody was scared to play. They have 5-star recruits up the wazoo. Everybody you can think of is playing for them. It is an insane school, and it's pretty scary. And the other school was some nobodies that no one knew about, that was able to fly under the radar, that showed up in all black uniforms with just basic silver helmets, and had a bunch of players who had to play both offense and defense with, I believe, a 200-pound quarterback. That, if you all remember, was Bishop Sycamore. Now, I only gave that as an introduction to the people who don't know. If you don't know about Bishop Sycamore, by all means, there's so much stuff already out there. This story has been covered 100 times. In fact, I remember the time that it was covered. So go out there, go look it up. That is all great and dandy. You can go have yourself a laugh by looking up Bishop Sycamore. But that is not what we're talking about today. We have a new player. A new school who also happened to play IMG Academy. This time didn't stump ESPN, although it would have been hilarious if ESPN got stumped twice. That would have been really funny. This school, however, faced an even worse score than Bishop Sycamore. They lost 96-0. Now, I know what you're thinking. 96-0. I could probably find a couple of schools who also lost 96-0. Yeah, IMG is a pretty scary school. You just said it yourself. Why is this a big deal? They called it at halftime. The referees, this time being sensible, knew that there was not a game going on, that nobody was interested, nobody wanted to watch, and somebody was going to get hurt. So they ended the game at halftime, 96-0. That is just unbelievable. Here, however, is where things get dicey. Even though they did lose 96-0, what brings up this point, and the reason why I wanted to make this video right now, is just how suspicious this school is. Now, granted, I am making this very early. There are still stuff to come out. I am basically working with what I got, and here is what I have. This is their website. As you can see, pretty standard website. Nothing too weird going on. One thing I do want to point out, though, that I think really gives you a little bit of a fear. Number 1, there are little to no mentions of students whatsoever. When mentioning everything about this program, they only consider them student athletes, telling me that this school doesn't hire any actual students. And that, my friends, is a problem. You can't be an actual high school if you only house athletes. That means that there has to be something going on, some exception your program is getting, that the only thing you allow are student athletes. The fact that there are no regular students and the fact that the only thing they mention are student athletes is thing number 1 that really tips me off. If you're going to be a school and you want to mention yourself as a real school, then by all means you have to have actual students. It can't just be all athletes. That's when the fishiness starts turning. And that's when people are going to start getting suspicious about the legitimacy of this said school. I mean, you can see it right here. The only things that they have included that says anything about their academics is this random royalty-free picture that you can get off anywhere of just two random people. This is probably actors, paid actors. Just a black and white image of some hands and a camera. And these two things aren't even talking about schooling. This is about recruiting, and this is about community engagement. None of these mention schooling whatsoever. These are totally different things. Another thing that stands out to me that's a bit suspicious here is this. They're specifically the ones that run the program. Head coach and director of football. There's a couple of things that weird me out here. Number one, the head coach and the director of football both have to double dip. The director of football is the tight ends coach. The head coach is the offensive coordinator and works with wide receivers and running backs. I get it. Some schools are underfunded. That makes sense. But if you're a school that's going to be playing these heavy schedules that includes IMG Academy, then you have to have a program. You have to have a program with excellent coaches. And another thing, one of your keynotes is experienced coaches. You have experienced coaches, yet they have to double dip? Where is the logic? Where is the logic? Proud to maintain a strong coaching staff with wealth of knowledge, experience in their particular sport. Yeah, that's all nice and dandy. If, they were actual coaches. I'm sorry, but if you have experienced coaches who are the best in the business and the best in the program, they shouldn't be double dipping. No matter how much money is sunk in. If you sunk in the money to have experienced coaches, they wouldn't be double dipping. You can talk to any coach of any sport. Having to juggle two tasks, juggling your main task of running the whole team and then having to set aside time for wide receivers, running backs, and focusing on their game, that's time consuming. That's a lot. And I can't imagine the director of operations of this school then having to go onto the field and work with tight ends. Where's the logic? Where's the logic? I don't get the logic. There's no logic here. This is their video. It is linked on their website. You can see up here, westtorontoprep.com. This is their video where they talk about, their program and what they have. It's generic music and it's really, really, really basic. Study time. You can see here it says study time. These are clearly all football players based on their build and their dress and their appearance. These are clearly football players. And this guy has a whistle on. At least what looks like a whistle from the background. Education, tutors, accommodation, grants, and subsidiaries. They don't look like they're in a class. I'm sorry, but there was no notebooks. There was no notebooks. There was no pens. There was no papers. There was no notes. Hell, not even like a single laptop. Not even like a single laptop or tablet. They have coffee. Not a single laptop or tablet, and this is study time. Clearly, the only thing they're studying is film, is teams, is plays, is playbooks. They're not studying ACTs, SATs, which says in their website they do. They're not studying for that. They're going over film. They have no film of them actually being in class. And honestly, if you could just show a teacher just pretending to teach, that makes sense. If you say it's all online learning and they have teachers who help them out online, then that would make sense. I'd be accepting of that. But they don't even do that. If this is showing that, number one, it's not an online school. They do their learning in school. And number two, they don't even show learning in the video. The video is them watching film, going over playbooks. You can see that the teacher there doesn't look like a normal normal high school teacher. It looks like the PE coach became the teacher. It looks like a sub. It doesn't look like an actual school environment. It doesn't look like it. And this really weirds me out when they're trying to be authentic. That you don't even try to go the extra mile to try and assume yourself, or at least show this presence of you being authentic. Now, this is definitely one of the most incriminating evidence against themselves. We are still on the website, westtorontoprep.com, and this is their directions for their said school. If you click on Get Directions, it brings you to this. Centennial Park. Centennial Park, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, where they have a hockey rink and a football stadium and a BMX track, some baseball fields, some temporarily closed batting cage, and a just random middle school right there. Nothing shows high school. Nothing shows preparatory academy. Nothing shows anything here that can signify themselves as a high school. Which again, like I prefaced, if you are showing yourself and providing yourself as an online-based education system where they only meet in person to perform athletics, then that's fine. But don't give us a map. Don't put an address. Don't put a physical address. You don't need to. You could just give a phone number. And if you provide a physical, don't provide a physical address unless asked. But this is on their website. They profess this out to the world. And that's what's crazy to me. This address is on their website. They're showing to people, hey, we are an actual school with an actual address, and the address doesn't show an actual school. If you go to the building and zoom in on Google Maps where the specific address is, it is a temporarily closed ski chalet. Another point that really weirds me out is on their website and on everywhere else, it leaves a phone number.
The text now subscriber you are trying to reach is not available. Please leave your message after the tone.
It doesn't at all give you a customized message that labels it as a school. Nothing talking about recruitment, nothing talking about football. It's a generic, if you were to call a call provider, and a generic pre-recorded message from a phone company. That's not professional, and that's scary to me. The fact that a school who is supposed to be this professional preparatory academy has no actual messaging machine open for any of this. That's not great. Again, that's not professional. If you're at a school, you have to be professional. If you have students who are learning, you have to be professional. This is the biggest thing I want to touch on though. There's one thing I want you to walk away from when watching this video, even though you guys are probably watching this to know any little information or anything different. If there's one thing I want people to take away from this video, is that this can happen. The fact that this can happen is not great. It worries me that we as a society care so much about sports, about scholarships, recruitment, money. Especially now in these days with NIL, money is a huge factor. That parents are able to just throw that all away, to just not at all focus on their kids' dreams, aspirations, none of that, to just chase a paycheck and to chase overall scholarship, college attainment. Did we at once think where that can go? This is the second time in 2 years that we have had a school play one of the best football programs in the nation, who dominates every single game and has 5-star recruits out the wazoo that nobody wants to play. And because nobody wants to play, this school pays schools to play them. And we have just created a mess. This wouldn't be a problem if we had institutions that were able to take care of this. Make sure schools are legit. Make sure that schools have programs, teachers, tutors, actual education. But we don't worry about that anymore. There are no rules prohibiting this. Who knows how many schools like this exist? Who knows who is gonna be the next school to be named the next Bishop Sycamore? And hell, who knows what happens to this school? I mean, does Canada care as much as the US about finding out about these fake schools? Is this just gonna be another meme template? Are we just gonna be wondering what's the next West Toronto prep? Because this angers me, and this worries me. You have kids with dreams and aspirations of playing college football in the NFL, and doing all they can to put their lives and hearts and souls on that field. And for these adults, whoever these head coaches, director of football, or whatever these coaches are, if this is actually a scam, and these people are actually told that their lives are going to get changed, shame. Shame on you. Shame on you. If you actually told some people that they were going to have their lives changed, get looked at, get college scholarships, and you knew it was going to be a lie, shame on you. Like that's crazy to me. Where in the actual law book do we actually look up and actually put together what can constitute as and asn't a school? Because you would think that this process has already been dealt with. The fact that this can even happen is just crazy to me. The fact that we could just have another Bishop Sycamore just like this. And heck, who knows how many schools are out there. We need to crack down on this, because we don't really think about how many people are being misled by this. Being told they're going to get an education, get Division I scholarship offers, get money, all to be lied to, just so that the actual people can make money. Because remember, IMG can't get a full schedule. Nobody wants to play them and get a loss on their schedule. So these motherfuckers make some fake-ass team, take the money, take the beating, and run. Because they're getting paid at the end of the day. IMG has to pay people to play. That's how this works. And people are abusing it. This is on a lot of people. This is on every single person a part of this football program that isn't a part of this school that know this is a lie. Parents, other players, people who are friends, people who are recruiters who are part of this program. It is on them. It is on the football head coach and director of operations and every single other coach that knows this is a lie and knows this is a scam. It is on them for tricking our youth, from tricking other people just for the money. And this is on the governments in the US and in Canada and anywhere else this is happening. You have to define what is a school. How the hell are we going to say that everybody has a chance for education if we don't define what education is? I'm sorry, but you can go at this at the football route. The fact that a team can just appear out of nowhere, have no birth certificates, have no verification of birthrights, put enough to house 11 people, have them play both sides of the ball, and then get their ass kicked and get a paycheck for the adults. Like, yeah, you can look at it that way. But the fact that the government is not at least putting a stop and saying that we are going to clarify what is and isn't a school is awful. You have to clarify what is and isn't a school and be able to monitor that so that if somebody is claiming they don't have the right education and can't go to college, you need to crack down on it. They're getting money. This is possibly a scam, just like Bishop Sycamore was. You can't let these happen. You're not just affecting the adults and the people who just lost money. This isn't affecting the donors of IMG. This isn't affecting ESPN. This isn't affecting any recruitment out there. This is affecting colleges. This is not about them. It's about parents who possibly are getting scammed right now as we speak, being told their son is going to have a great education, all to chase some football paycheck. That is why I'm mad. The governments can step in, but I don't think they will.
Bishop Sycamore told us they had a number of Division I prospects on their roster. To be frank, a lot of that we could not verify. And they did not show up in our database. They did not show up in the databases of other recruiting services. So it's okay. If that's what you're telling us, fine. That's how we take it in. From what we've seen so far, this is not a fair fight. And there's got to be a point now, Lugs, where you do worry about health and safety.